Hello, welcome to Live Trifle, and today I'm going to talk about hoes, you know, garden hoes, just sort of for weeding. Shh. And over the years I've collected a few different types of hoes, and the vain effort that they make life easier. Well, they all pretty much do a very similar job. Some are better than others, and some are more suited to different jobs than others. And what I'm going to start with is the basic hoe. Now, coming to France, we are subjected to these things. It's a bit like a matlock. So a matlock would have a pointy bit on the end here, you know, for digging holes and what have you. But this is actually a really useful tool. It is nice and weighty. It has a fairly good, fairly hefty, chunky blade on there, so it can chop through most things. And then you have a handle. It is quite labour intensive, and you do have to bend with it. So that's the only downside with this traditional style of hoe. And as a category of hoe, you'd call this a draw hoe, or a digging hoe, or a chopping hoe. The same as the other forms of draw hoe, such as this draw hoe, which just has the chopping action. Again, I'll demonstrate in a minute. But then we have other forms of draw hoes. Draw hoes, drawls and hoes. I wonder where that comes from. Like this one, but this one has a replaceable, not replaceable, it has a blade, which is much thinner than the other chopping type or draw hose that I showed you. This one, which is a Wolf Gardena one, it's quite old now actually. I've had it quite a lot of years, and it's a bit worse for wear, but it's still doing the job. And it's one of the ones where you've got replaceable heads. You can pull that out, but not at the moment. It's probably all rusted in there. But it does work really well. So for fast weeding, it works really, really good. So they're the draw hose. But there are other sorts of hoes as well. We have a stirrup hoe. And this is what you'd call a stirrup hoe. It could be called a scuttle hoe, and the idea being is you can hoe in both directions with it. Quite good for light hoeing work. There are obviously lots of different types of hoes out there, like the Warren hoe and what have you, like the diamond-shaped ones, and they're all very good for the certain jobs. Like how many hoes do you need? But then the other very popular hoe, and another one which I've had for many, many years, is this. And this is a, this is actually by Wilson Sword, this one. And as you can see, I have pretty much worn it up. I'll show you that now. But it's really, really light with aluminium handle, and you can do a lot of work quick with it. Really good hoe. But that's called a push hoe, or a Dutch hoe. I don't know why it's called a Dutch hoe, but that's what they're called, a Dutch hoe. That's for pushing. And then we have another version of the push hoe, or the Dutch hoe, such as this one, a bit heavier. Another is a Wolf Gardena one, hardly ever used it because I've always found it too heavy as a push hoe. That draw hoe thing I showed you a minute ago, that's brilliant. But the push hoe, not quite so good. Then we have another form of hoe for either lighter tasks, or if you're on your hands and knees, is another form of hoe, or digging hoe, chopping hoe, and it works very, very good. But as you can see, it's much, much smaller than this one. Yeah, this one is pretty good hefty tasks, and so is that one is okay for lighter tasks. The thing you'll find between the two, they're both very good as a digging hoe. So if you're creating your furrows and what have you, those two are brilliant. Anyway, I'll quickly demonstrate them for you. How should we do it? Over here, I think, where there's some veggies and stuff, or a bit of ground. Let's bring that over here. Right, let's plonk that camera down here, shall we? If I can. Bear with me. I'm trying to make unedited videos, and it's failing miserably. There we go. We're there, and we just want to. Okay. So what we first have is I'll start with the traditional hoe, ho, such as this one. Great digging hoe, so you can create deep furrows with it. Really good and quick, and the weight is a benefit because you have the inertia behind it. So great if you want to plant your potatoes or anything like that. So that is your digging or chopping hoe. If you want a draw hoe or chopping hoe for the purpose of removing just weeds, well, this form of hoe would be ideal for that, because although you can use it for your digging the furrows, it's quite good just for shaping your furrow, but also for removing light weeds. A very useful hoe indeed. And then we have another form of the draw hoe here, which is that Wolf Gardena, which I find really, really good because it cuts through really well. Look, it actually gets through and takes that top layer of soil and turns it over for you. Really good hoe if you can get hold of one. Then we have the stirrup hoe, such as this one. And the idea between that is you can move it in both directions, so you can actually go backwards and forwards with it. It cuts in both directions, so you can cut the weeds off in both directions. And then we have the push hoe, the Dutch push hoe, such as this one. Quite a good tool, ideal for light, fast weeding tasks, and quite controllable. I've always really liked this, and that's why it's really badly worn. So, really good tool. No good for doing furrows or anything like that with, you know, it's okay if you want to mark a line, fine, but as a digging type hoe, no good whatsoever. But anyway, that's my little collection of hoes, and I hope you found that of interest. And if you're always kind and give us all a like and subscribe, and maybe press a little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket. That'll be me uploading another video. Harry, thank you for watching.